Well. Big things for Bitcoin. We could be on the eve of a Bitcoin ETF approval for US markets. Big news, lots of rumor, lots of speculation blasting all over social media right now, as we would expect with such a situation going on. I'm going to break that down a bit for you in today's video. Talk about the China equation here as well. Also, we have lots of news for Arbitrum and the SEI ecosystems and stuff going on in Avalanche. Make sure to stick around for all the altcoin goods as well. And of course, stick around for the second half of the conversation because I'll be answering your questions in the Q&A portion of the video, which is always the best portion of the video. So make sure to stick around for that. Shout out to everybody joining today here on the live stream, whether that's on YouTube or X, or listening to this later when we post it on Spotify or Apple. Welcome, everybody. Let's get into it. Big things happening in the market. I'm excited. Hope you're excited too. Holy cow, crypto, man. Never a dull damn day around here, is it? So right now, we had that, of course, crazy move the other day, as we discussed on the Monday stream on Bitcoin, came down, retested the 50-day exponential moving average. We've since recovered a little bit as people realized, oh, actually, that was just washing out the longs. We had some rumors getting reported as news. Essentially, we're still looking like we are on track. So, look, there's not much to say about the charts right now. Realistically, it's highly news dependent at the moment. If we get a Bitcoin ETF approval, expect big upward movements for the crypto markets in a very short amount of time. If we get a denial, which is still a non-0% chance, without a doubt, there's still a possibility that could happen, then expect carnage. Definitely, we are in the camp right now of very high probability for getting the approval to happen. 90+%, 99% maybe even. We see the advanced stages of what's going on. It's almost a certainty. Almost. Which means that a lot of that move is going to be priced in. But as soon as you see the actual announcement come, there will be a big fat green candle. When? Well, that's always the question, isn't it? Some people are saying it could be any minute, literally. Some people saying it could be tomorrow, which, of course, is Friday for U.S. markets. Insiders starting to signal it has been approved. Anthony Scaramucci saying it's done. Interesting. This guy here, Craig Salm, chief legal officer at Grayscale, is saying just filling out some forms. We have lots of cryptic things happening here on social media from very connected people to the whole process of the Bitcoin ETFs, right? So it's looking more and more like it's probably happening in the next few days. Friday becomes very, very likely. If not, we have 3 days next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If it's not done by Wednesday, then it's a denial. Which would be bad news, bears, everybody. So let's watch out for probably tomorrow. My kind of feeling would be tomorrow would make a lot of sense. Friday, blast it out on the markets. There you go. Let us all have a crazy weekend. I have to come live stream again, aren't I? It's gonna be crazy. Try and take the weekends off, but that's a pretty big announcement. We're gonna have to make something around that. Make a note for history here on YouTube. Celebrate the spot ETF coming to U.S. markets. Anyway, lots of speculation that's going to be coming very, very soon. I like this meme here. It's getting a bit silly right now on social media. Everybody talking about the rumors. I don't want to name names. There's a rumor. Look at the stablecoin inflows. Something Cointelegraph intern was right. What about Hong Kong? Sideliners in disbelief. Lots of funny things happening right now. And it's all kind of true, to be fair. James Seifert, our resident ETF nerd, saying lots of noise about tomorrow, sticking to this, though, which is his prediction that the ETF approval will come January 8th, 9th, or 10th. He's saying probably not Friday, which is interesting. Now, this guy is like an ETF dude. Maybe that's a valid opinion. But realistically, can we just say this? This is, I feel like, a very, very important announcement for everybody to hear. So listen up. I know we've been talking a lot about the Bitcoin ETF and whether it's coming tomorrow or whether it's coming on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or it gets denied and it comes in March instead. None of this matters. None of this fundamentally really matters all that much. Short-term price action, I mean. This is what we're talking about. It's all just short-term noise, short-term price action. Zoom out I don't care what the price does tomorrow or next week or even next month. Oh, it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about it, obviously, but it doesn't really fundamentally matter. We are at the precipice right now where we're standing there looking out across the vast plains of an unimaginable bull run of epic proportions where generational wealth will be created for tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people. Many of you watching will completely change everything if you remember to sell, obviously. The big game, the big picture here, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. The start of the Bitcoin ETF is like the first drop. You ever see how they cut like a little sliver into a dam and a few drops of water start coming through, and then the whole dam after like an hour or two bursts open and it's all flooding downstream? That's what we have here. First 2 days, probably going to be rather muted. We're going to see the money come in, but it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be overnight. But what happens over the next year is going to be unbelievable. What happens over the next 2 years, you better hold on to your butts. This is going to be nuts. What happens by 2030, this decade, the next 5 or 6 years, man, what a time to be alive. What a time to be in markets. What a time to be in this market specifically. You know, back when I first started investing in crypto, and I started learning about the technology, we started having all these conversations. We've been talking about Bitcoin ETFs and stuff for years. I hope you guys realize that this is not a new topic, but it's finally happening, which is very exciting. But back then I was looking at it and going, this is it. This is the thing. This is the thing that's going to, of course, change my financial destiny, but it's the thing that's going to be the talk of the town for the next couple of decades, because we are fully revolutionizing, evolving the way that money and ownership works. We live highly digital lives, and this is the digital form of our money, the digital form of our ownership, the digital form of owning our in-game assets, all this kind of stuff. Of course, we're going to start bringing real estate deeds and all the rest of this crazy stuff online as well. We are at a crazy moment for this market. We are getting a level of regulatory and financial approval that is going to just unleash a once in a market, once in a lifetime liquidity event. I don't know how anybody cannot be bullish on this. Is it just me? Is it just me? Let me know in the comment section. Am I being irrationally bullish here, or am I not bullish enough? Oh boy. Okay. Continuing here. The SEC has been backed into a corner on a BTC ETF approval, says Bloomberg analyst. A go ahead in the coming days could lead to $10 billion in inflows for Bitcoin ETFs in the first year. 10 billion would, it's not that much money at the end of the day. I feel like 10 billion could be on the lower side of things, but 10 billion is still a lot of money. 10 billion buys a lot of Bitcoin, And you have to understand that once that happens, that's 10 billion in inflows just from Bitcoin ETF products. We are already seeing retail buyers outstrip the ability of miners to produce Bitcoin right now. Before all this happens, we are seeing lows on exchanges we haven't seen since like 2017 or something like that, 2016. Right now, before the Bitcoin ETFs. Pay attention to the big details. Here's an interesting one. Former city execs are launching a Bitcoin depository receipt, which are securities that are backed by Bitcoin and do not need SEC approval. That's a weird one. Kind of somebody trying to get a backdoor Bitcoin product into markets. All right, I see you there, Citibank executives. Just more liquidity, essentially. ETF applicant Bitwise, they did a survey showing that 88% of advisors are interested in purchasing Bitcoin, but they are waiting until after a spot Bitcoin ETF is approved. 88% of advisors. Did you hear that number? 80 freaking 8. What are the other 12% doing, by the way? They're going to sit there and say, don't buy Bitcoin. No, I don't understand it. These guys. Anyway, 88% of advisors are going to start telling their customers, you need to get exposure to Bitcoin. Get 1% in your portfolio, 3% in your portfolio. We've covered all these numbers here before on the channel. A portfolio that just had 1% dramatically outperforms the 60-40, 60% bonds, 40% stock for index portfolio, the classic, right? 3% dramatic outperformance. These are the kind of conversations that these advisors are going to start having when they start pushing these Bitcoin ETF products. There is a bonanza, a big fat honeypot out there that all the advisors want to get. And that is managing this Bitcoin, because if they sell it to you at 50K and your Bitcoin goes to 500K or $1 million, they're still getting 1% on it. Huge financial opportunity right here. And not to be outdone. And I think a very, very important thing to realize and to contemplate, Hong Kong. I know we've talked about before, but on the eve of an American Bitcoin ETF, whether it's tomorrow or in just a few days, here's the thing. Hong Kong's coming. Chinese money is coming. Hong Kong is pushing all this stuff through because the Chinese don't want the Americans to totally corner the market. They want Hong Kong banks and Chinese institutions to also capture a good portion of that market, because they understand that otherwise a lot of the money is going to go into the hands of U.S. companies again. It becomes a bit of a game theory situation where the first movers are going to capture so much value. Because you think about, when people get into these ETF products, if you get a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, you're probably not going to be super likely to go out and then change over at some point in the future. Well, I'm going to go get Valkyrie's one, or I'm going to go with Bitwise's one, or I'm going to go with whoever else's one, Fidelity's. There will be a little bit of that, but the vast majority of people will get one provider, and that's where they're just going to stay. So capturing those people early, big monetary opportunity, and the Chinese don't want to miss out on that. Hong Kong is, of course, China's financial window on the world. It's an avenue for mainland money to enter these kind of markets. And that's a lot of money. Bitcoin has remained super popular in China despite all the crackdowns. And so spot ETFs launching on Hong Kong markets could be another big liquidity injection that no one's even talking about. Everyone's just so focused on the US markets right now. They're all like completely forgetting that Hong Kong's about to launch Bitcoin ETFs too. Man, come on. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Hey, I like this, by the way. I want to share this with you. It's from Caitlin Cook. So she says, as someone who used to spend all day, every day selling ETFs and other financial products to traditional money managers of all shapes and sizes, I can promise you one thing. Even if you are bullish, most of you are drastically underestimating the long-run impact of crypto ETF approvals. Maybe it's obvious, but just in case it's not, allow me to get your wheels turning. Chew on this. The registered investment advisory industry, which does not include assets managed by massive broker-dealer firms or a lion's share of the assets managed by hybrid BD-RIA firms across the country. So excluding those groups from this, okay? That grew by 2.1% in 2022, with 15,114 fiduciary investment advisors managing 114.1. Let's just throw the 0.1 in there. $114 trillion. Holy cow. What? $114 trillion. Think about that. Now she says, imagine even a fraction of a percentage of those assets going into a spot crypto ETF. Just a fraction, because that's a product that fits within the confines of their current framework. It's something they're allowed to invest in. This is the green light for all these institutional players. 1% of 114 trillion is 1.4 trillion. You can't try to bring $1.4 trillion in cash to buy 2 million Bitcoin currently sitting on exchanges. See what happens to the price. Try to bring 0.1%, which is 114 billion. Huge money, guys. We're talking crazy, crazy stuff here. 114 billion. I mean, again, we are looking at 2 million Bitcoins sitting on exchanges. The price is going to have to go up dramatically to meet that. She says, let me be clear, it won't happen all at once, and they won't ape all their assets into it, nor should they, or anyone, but it will be undeniably opening the floodgates to a huge new opportunity set or assets and participants. It's a good point. It's a very, very good point. Very, very interesting point. Now, that's the Bitcoin ETF news, guys, and we talk a lot about it. It's obviously a very, very critical and massively important event for the entire cryptocurrency market. And I know it's like, oh, but it's just for Bitcoin, Lark. No, it's not just for Bitcoin. I know it's just for Bitcoin. This is a liquidity injection into the entire cryptocurrency market. A liquidity injection of potentially tens to hundreds of billions of dollars. Starts with Bitcoin. And then what happens? As soon as this Bitcoin ETF is approved, what do you think the next big speculations? What do you think everyone's going to be talking about next? The Ethereum spot ETF applications, because those have already been lodged. And if it's good enough for a spot Bitcoin ETF, it's going to be good enough for a spot Ethereum ETF. And then what happens? Then they start realizing, crap, we need to launch Solana ETFs. We need to launch Chainlink ETFs. The Wall Street goons are here, and they're going to bring a lot of money. It's a deal with the devil, and our bags are going to pump. Get ready. Now, before we get into all the altcoin news, or I guess as part of the altcoin news, I want to make a note of this. Guys, if you haven't got, if you are looking for an airdrop, okay? If you're looking for an airdrop, this is a big one coming up. It's called Manta Network. This is an Ethereum layer 2. So it's powered by Celestia, the new data availability network. They're using Polygon's ZK EVM technology, working with some of the biggest players in the space, backed by some of the biggest players in the space. Okay, and they're doing a massive airdrop. They're giving away 50 million Manta tokens. So if you want to check that out, I've personally put 50 Ethereum in. Now, obviously, there's always risks anytime you get into any of these early networks trying to chase these airdrops. So keep that in mind. You know, if I were to lose 50 ETH, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. Please don't ape all your money. I haven't aped all my money. I've aped enough that it could be very interesting, though. Anyway, if you want to participate in that airdrop potential, the snapshot's coming really soon, so the time is running out on this one. If you want to be available for that, you have to have an invite code. I've got an invite code down below in the description here, so thank you very much for using that if you want to check that out. By the way, another airdrop announcement for you guys. Merchant Mo. So for all the Trader Joe holders out there, I'm a Trader Joe holder, got a fat bag of Trader Joe, obviously, as always, full portfolio disclosures and risk disclosures down in the description. But I have bridged my Joe from Arbitrum over to the Mantle Network, staked it in order to get in line for the Mo drop. So they're dropping 2.5%, I think, of total supply to people who bridge their Joe tokens over and stake them on Merchant Mo. Seems like it's worth a punt. The airdrop's happening on the 8th, so you got a few days to do it still. So if you are a Trader Joe holder, maybe it's interesting for you to do. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Hossbone, we are live, man. We are live. I see you there, Hossbone. We always do these bad boys live. We don't launch pre-recorded live streams, man. What is that kind of stuff? We do them. We do it. We're gonna do it live. We do it live. Good time over here. I love seeing you guys in here, by the way. Hey, one quick note, too, before we get into the altcoin stuff. Well, we're talking about these sort of things. Check out the damn newsletter, guys. If you're not signed up to the newsletter yet, you're missing out. Best damn newsletter in the cryptocurrency industry. And I know I'm biased because it's my newsletter, but it is damn good. Just actually crossed over 100,000 weekly subscribers. So check it out. Absolutely jam-packed full of alpha in every single issue. Altcoin alpha, deep dives on altcoins, NFT alpha, the latest, hottest airdrops, the news, because it's the newsletter. We also talk about the news and much, much more. Our writing team is absolutely awesome, and our researchers are absolutely awesome. We spend like 40 hours a week, so you can read this in like 10, 15 minutes. Sounds like a pretty good deal for free, right? So check it out, link in the description. Okay. Let's get back to the news. Let's talk about get some cock in you. COQ, guys. Come on, it's French. It's cultured. It's cultured, okay? Come on. Anyway, Avalanche Foundation is going to start purchasing meme coins as part of its culture drive. Because like we said, getting some cock in you is definitely a cultured play here. Okay. Anyway, it's interesting to see the Avalanche Foundation really going all in on culture on chain, because that's essentially what meme coins are, culture, right? And so that'll be a pretty interesting play. I wonder how that's going to play out for them long term. Some of these meme coins are probably going to go absolutely crazy, right? So we'll see how that plays out for sure. But yeah, nice to see Avalanche Foundation backing their ecosystem by actually even throwing in, hey, you know, throwing in some meme coins and stuff here as well. Why the heck not, right? Why the heck not? So I like seeing that kind of stuff happening. Price, some people saying, by the way, some people talking about the price right now. Price coming down a little bit. I would not qualify that as a massive dump yet, down a few percent. I mean, guys, you need to expect, by the way, before we get into the rest of the altcoin news, I see you guys commenting on it. So I'm just going to give you a quick note on this. Guys, just a thought here. Expect massive volatility, okay, in both directions around this Bitcoin ETF approval. There's huge amounts of leverage on either side of the equation here. There's huge amounts of expectation on either side of the equation. So no matter what happens, it'll be very volatile, probably in both directions, to be honest, no matter what happens. So if you're using leverage, be careful. It's a dangerous time to be doing that, potentially a highly profitable time to be doing that. And there's going to be a lot of volatility, guys. So just stay frosty, be safe. All right. These kind of big news events, and this is a big news event, can be dangerous. Don't get washed out, okay? Don't get washed out. Be careful. Okay, we're up to. I want to share this. I thought this was pretty cool. Moonbeam has been absolutely crazy. So they recorded a 1,143% surge in unique address growth in 2023. Now, Optimism, also they're the winner, hiding behind my head here at just bring that so you can see there. There you go. 3,683%. There you go. So big things. Of course, that's in front of Arbitrum at 560%. You can see the other chains down here. Ethereum only 16% unique user growth, address growth, which is not surprising considering how stupid the fees have been, to be honest. But anyway, big news from Moonbeam bags. Great. I love to see it. Moonbeam to $10. Let's go. Come on, anytime now, Moonbeam. That'd be fantastic. I think, of course, once we see the Polkadot 2.0 narrative kicking off, we have a Polkadot video coming for you guys in a few days, so keep an eye out for that. But layer twos, I'm really not surprised. Optimism, obviously seeing a lot of interest. Arbitrum, my big Arbitrum bags, finally over $2, finally in massive profits. About damn time, Arbitrum, you do something. Anyway, layer twos, I'm not surprised. Moonbeam, nice. This is actually a good indication for me that we're going to see a lot of public interest coming back into Polkadot and Polkadot-related chains like Moonbeam. So that's very cool. Now, I also want to talk, of course, about Arbitrum, because Arbitrum is going absolutely nuts recently. So we've had, what is this? This is Arbitrum's end of year happy 2024 thing. They said we had 800 projects building on the Arbitrum ecosystem in 2023. Huge. Awesome. Look at all these crazy numbers. Huge social growth, 15.6 million unique addresses on Arbitrum. That's wild. That's wild stuff right there. Arbitrum DEX volumes exploding, now in second place, by the way, behind Ethereum, $1.8 billion. That's an all-time high. By the way, fantastic. Ahead of BINANCE Smart Chain, ahead of Solana, twice Solana currently, of course. Arbitrum season could be here. Very exciting. Uniswap volume on Arbitrum alone hitting over $1 billion for the first time. Very big things happening over there. Arbitrum Layer 2 total value locked surpassed $10 billion as well. So there you go. I keep seeing comments about Bitcoin dumping and stuff. Guys, it's only down like 2% or something like that, 1%. Like we're doing okay here, guys. We're doing okay. I just gotta keep checking. I see you guys talking here in the chat, like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's down. It's down like 1 to 2%. We're good. We're good right now. We're good. Hey, big news from Arbitrum as well here. Custom gas tokens for Arbitrum Orbit chains are now supported. Now, this is really cool. So this is basically the next layer. So many layers. You guys are gonna be tired of layers. Anyway, it's a new layer here. And you're allowed to use custom gas tokens. So basically, you can use any ERC20 token for transaction fees. So let's say that you're using, I don't know, dog game, just as an, make up example. You're playing dog game on Arbitrum at layer 3, and instead of needing ETH to pay the fees, you can pay in dog game coins to pay your on-chain transaction fees, which is pretty cool. That's important stuff right there. I like it. So very cool. Nice move, Arbitrum. Of course, we have huge Arbitrum updates coming. We have Arbitrum Stylus coming up pretty soon. We have the EIP 4844, which is going to reduce gas fees by 10 to 100x. Arbitrum Stylus is also going to dramatically reduce fees. So Arbitrum is well situated to become, well, not to become, to continue to be the layer 2 chain for Ethereum. So we'll see if they keep that lead up. First mover advantages, man. Well, technically they were second. Actually, Optimism came out first. But anyway, everybody preferred Arbitrum. I prefer Arbitrum. I don't know what it is, man. I just like using Arbitrum over Optimism. Anyway, thanks for the free airdrop back in the day, Optimism. I like that too. Super Oracles also integrating with Arbitrum. So that's pretty nice to see. Super could be a big one coming up in the future. Of course, they're also one that was doing an airdrop. We talked about that a few times here on the channel. Hope you guys found out about that, saw that, got yourself in line for some Supra tokens whenever they come out. I'm a private sale investor in that one, by the way, but I am a big Oracle fan, so we'll see how they go. It's probably one of the bigger Oracle players that are coming out in the not so distant future. Now, real quick, before we get into the Q&A session, it's very interesting to me to watch all these new networks coming out because there's a lot of opportunity on these new networks. So Say network, this is one that's gone up 600-700% in the last few weeks. So this is an EVM parallel, so Ethereum virtual machine parallel blockchain, right? So essentially, this allows you to do all your fun Ethereum stuff, but on a different chain for much, much lower fees. Now, look, there's a lot of layer 2s and stuff they're letting you do this too, but we're seeing huge competition right now in the layer 1 space. People are starting to say that, well, Say is actually the Solana of this cycle. Whether that's going to prove to be right or not, I have no idea. It could be the flavor of the week. And then next week, we're talking about some other coin as being the Solana of this cycle. Still, though, when you see these new networks come up and you see all the attention that they start getting, there is a lot of opportunity there. But it's like drinking from a fire hose sometimes because there's too much opportunity, basically. Too many things are happening all the damn time. It's crazy, man. You just... that's why I think sometimes I look at social media and that's another airdrop to farm and another chain that I have to go and do stuff on. Of course, you don't have to do things everywhere. And it gets a bit overwhelming, to be honest, at some point when you get into too many tokens, too many airdrop farms, too many everythings. You have to keep it somewhat reasonable because there's literally too many opportunities every single day for you to take advantage of. Only so much money and time exists, right? And you don't have to put $1 into every single coin. It's ridiculous. But Say Network is one that's getting a lot of attention right now. So whether you are going for the main Say asset or what's probably going to be the bigger money makers are the beta plays because it's such an underrepresented ecosystem right now that those early movers in that network, if the network really takes off and gets big, could be much bigger earners than the core asset itself. Just a thought. Now, let's crack open a cold one, which I don't currently have. Hold on a second. Here we go. I got a sparkling water. Here we go. Let's crack open a cold one, guys. It's kind of room temperature, actually. But anyway, let's answer some questions. What do you guys want to talk about today? Let's hang out 20, 30 minutes. That's the news segment all done, guys. Let's talk crypto. What are the questions you guys got here for today? What do you want to talk about? I saw somebody asking... What was it about? DOT. Darren Carter. Good question. Any thoughts on why DOT has been stagnant compared to other layer ones? Got a video coming out in just a couple days. The basic idea, though, is that, look, Polkadot 2.0 is coming up soon. And that is probably going to be what really drives a lot of hype and excitement back into the market. The parachain model was broken. It kind of sucked. It didn't really work. Interesting. I'm glad they tried it. All about innovation. Don't try. You never know. Anyway, parachains didn't work. They're moving to the core time model, basically renting block space. So it's much more efficient for the different chains and stuff that will launch on there. It's much better, of course, for driving value to the DOT token and all this kind of stuff. So that's pretty good. That's a positive. And I think Polkadot 2.0 could really get things kickstarted later this year. It's still relatively underhyped compared to a lot of stuff going on. I mean, Polkadot's like a 12th or 13th biggest cryptocurrency, so it's not like it's totally unrecognized by the markets, right? It's just that's not as hyped up as other stuff right now, but it will have its time, I think. And again, the beta plays will probably be what really make the big money. My Moonbeam bags will probably make a lot more money than my DOT bags, total percentage-wise gains, right? Okay. Nathaniel, yeah, it does get overwhelming, especially the airdrop hunting and farming. I know, man. I know. Some days I'm just like, there's so many airdrops to farm, and you can't farm them all. And you can't sort of dedicate enough capital to them either, because some of them are more based on volume generated and stuff like that. So you only have so much money to go around, right? And you don't want to put too much money in certain places. And anyway, gets a bit crazy, but I feel you on that. I really, really do. Doug Johnson, Say has yet to do anything. The thing that Say is doing right now is making money. The number is going up. And that's probably one of the primary use cases for a lot of our cryptocurrencies. And it's one of the use cases that bring users onto chain. So now they have to, of course, deliver the apps and to prove themselves. BSV Stacker, watching from Cuba. Shout out, man. What's up? Do you believe IOTA has a future, or is it a dead project already? I mean, look, of course, IOTA has a future, man. I have not looked at or thought about IOTA literally for years. Like every once in a while, I see somebody mention, I'm just like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Don't know, man. I have no idea. It was a big coin back in the day. Like 2017 was big coin. Everybody's talking about all the time. It was, the new paradigm of money for a short amount of time. And then I don't know, man. They just couldn't deliver a good product. I remember back in the day, let me show my age here. I remember back in the day using the IOTA wallet. Oh, what a horrendous, horrible, terrible, bad wallet. What? It was horrific. You could almost never get a transaction. It was just bad all the time. Everything about it was bad. It was just like, why would you make such a crap wallet? Jeez Louise. Anyway, kind of was, what got me off IOTA was just how bad it was to actually try to do anything ever on it. Just to transfer funds from point A to point B was a nightmare. And so I thought, well, this can't be the future of finance. And I haven't paid attention to them since then, to be honest. So I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of blockchains out there, and I don't have time for all of them when it comes down to it. And if that's been my experience, and look, hey, we made some money on IOTA back in the day. It was fun, but yeah. Anyway, Lark, are you still bullish on Eagle? It's still got a big bag, man. I think they have good potential to do something, but they've definitely not been getting the narrative and hype recently. Price has gone up. It's nice. But much like Polkadot, still a bit under the radar, not getting the hype, not getting the social media, commentators super excited about it at the moment. But I'm sure they've got some big updates coming, some big partnerships coming, some big apps coming. So keep an eye on them. I'm holding my bags, right? I'm holding my bags for higher prices, and we'll see what happens. Staking, getting those sweet staking rewards. Retro Bill Lark, just fill the bounce house with cash, turn on the fans, and let's all jump in. Feels like that sometimes. Slack Hoffman, do you still hold Rose, and your thoughts? Hey, by the way, guys, you can always find out my current portfolio. There's the link in the description of all my YouTube videos. It's pinned comment on X as well. So if you ever want to know what coins I'm currently holding, you can see it there. I've got my full portfolio disclosures always available for you, and all my venture investments as well. So you can see all that stuff there. But yes, I am still holding my Rose tokens. I got a giant bag of Rose. We accumulated a lot of Rose during the bear market when prices were like 7 cents, 6 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents. We got some good entries. Bullish on it. I think it's got great potential. Probably going to go up to $1, maybe more. We'll see. At $1, I'd probably be pretty tempted to sell, or at least start getting some money off the table on it. Anyway, currently enjoying the staking rewards. And yeah, looking for them to start really growing out their ecosystem and getting some users on board. Competition's hard, of course, in crypto. A lot of people, a lot of developers, a lot of teams fighting for essentially what is now a lot of the same dollars. We need new users to come into these new blockchains to really get things excited. And of course, in what future do we need 1,000 blockchains? We don't. So who's going to win long term? I don't know. But hey, a lot of these coins I will not be holding in 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. So there you go. Okay, we're up to next. Here's a good one. awoodflags.com. What tokens did you invest in to get started in crypto? It's interesting. I don't hold any of them anymore. My first 3 altcoins. So Bitcoin I bought first, and then I bought 3 altcoins. The altcoins that I bought were XRP, BYBIT, and NEM. XRP is still very popular, and had I held my XRP bags, I would actually still be in profit. There's perspective. But I didn't hold my XRP bags. Probably fumbled them for a slight loss or a slight profit. I can't even remember. It's been so long. I didn't have a big bag of it, but had some. And then the BITGET didn't hold very long. The NEM I held for quite a while, round tripped the bag, saw my tokens go from, I don't know, 5 or 10 cents when I bought them up to $2. And I round tripped it back down and sold for like 5 or 10 cents, whatever I got in at. So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, I don't think about any of those coins anymore. I know everybody's always asking my opinion on XRP. I don't really think about XRP that much either. Just not my particular cup of tea these days, actually. Those are the first 3 altcoins that I bought. Andrus, opinions on Telos? No opinion on Telos. Scroll, yes, great airdrop potential. I've been trying to farm that airdrop by doing continual interactions on Scroll. That includes bridging money over back and forth between layer 2s. That includes doing swaps on sync swap and stuff like that. That includes launching NFTs and using like third web to do like developer kind of stuff on chain. So we'll see. I'm also running a node for Scroll. So we'll see if I get an airdrop or not. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but it's airdrops. You may get nothing. That's how it works. NFT artist said, Wendy O said, Phantom won't come out with a token. Is that right? Look, the thing with airdrops is that they're not always telegraphed before they happen. So there's been companies that have definitely said, oh, we're totally not doing an airdrop. We're never going to do an airdrop. And then they do an airdrop. Because what they want is they want more organic users. They want people to actually be interacting for real purposes versus just sort of industrial farmers coming in and trying to farm the chain. Because it's not organic interactions. You want real growth, real users, not people just showing up because they want to get the free airdrop. So you got to kind of find a balance here in terms of like me, I like using all these chains. It's really interesting for me to go and use these chains, use the technology. Like you become a bit of, an expert by doing these things. You learn how to use bridges. You learn how to use DeFi and all these different things. It's fun. It's cool. It makes you really understand what's going on here with how to use chains and stuff like that. So it's fun. You get the advantage of that beyond just trying to get an airdrop, right? Okay. Where are we up to now? Oh, the triple. I saw somebody talking about the triple top theory. Yeah, I have no idea. It's an interesting one. It's easy to throw around theories. So I guess we get a triple top. U.S. enters a recession, and everything drops down by like 70 to 90% again. Nobody can really predict the future. All I know is that I can look at the trends, right? I don't know exactly what price is going to be for anything tomorrow or next week or next month. We all have our predictions. We all have our thoughts. It's bearish predictions still tend to get a lot of engagement because there's a lot of people who are sidelined. There are a lot of people who bought in too late or are chasing the FOMO now and all that kind of stuff, right? So it still gets a lot of popularity, these sorts of ideas. And it's, of course, important to be cautious at all times. Maybe we do get a triple top. I don't know. That guy doesn't know either. But, it's an interesting theory, Doug, nevertheless. But I look at the long-term picture, everything we talked about earlier in the stream, what's actually happening. The Bitcoin ETFs are coming. The Ethereum ETFs are coming. And everything else we've been talking about here on the channel for the past 6 months, all the banking adoption, the Hong Kong ETFs are coming. The big games are coming. We have killer apps coming and on and on and on and on and on. So short term, you always get volatility up and down. You can see we had a 10% drop the other day, just out of the blue. That happens. And you could have much bigger corrections. You have a 30, 40, 50% drawdown and then have the price surge 500% in a year's time. So I'm not too worried about what happens next week, next month. I'm more thinking next year, next 5 years, next 10 years. That's where you look at the charts, you look at the Bitcoin chart, and you just understand it's been going in one direction for the past 14 years or whatever. And that's up. Zeus Crypto, thanks for everything you do. I really hope you achieve a goal of 1 to 3 million this bull run. I have 100,000 Sol and 80,000 Joe. What do you think? Do I stand a chance for this target? And what is your take? If that is your entire portfolio, so you have $100,000 worth of SOL, I mean, what's the max that's probably going to do? Let's say another 10x. So, I mean, that'll be $1 million potentially, right? Market peak, I don't know, just a theory, right? And $80,000 worth of Joe. I mean, Joe's got a probably 20x potential, something like that. Again, not financial advice, just thinking off the top of my head here. Yeah, I mean, it's not unrealistic. It's not unrealistic, right? Profits depends on where you live, how much the government's going to steal from you when you click the sell button. It's funny, you take all the risk, and then they got their hand out. Pay me my money, governments. These guys, I tell you, makes me want to move to Dubai. Anyway, look, I think that's a pretty good starting amount. If you have a portfolio, even in sort of top coins, and you have $200,000 invested, which is about what you have here, like to see that 5 to 10x, I think is not unrealistic. Peak market, right? And the question is, will you sell when the time comes? It's hard. It's hard because if you have 200K, 180K, let's say this is your entire portfolio, you have 180K here, and you get up to $2 million, it becomes difficult because you're now looking at a number that's potentially higher than you've ever seen in your investments in your life. I don't know. Maybe you've got millions of dollars in real estate and stuff. And if so, you're probably going to be better prepared to handle this. So that's a different equation. But if this is the first time getting that kind of money in your hand, it's going to freak you out, man. And it's also going to screw with your head because when the markets start topping and Coinbase app's at number one and those old friends are calling and stuff like that, you start telling yourself, I'm a genius. This is only going to go up. This is the super cycle. This is the new paradigm of money. We're only going up from here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You start bargaining with yourself like, no, it's going to double tomorrow. And then when it doesn't double tomorrow, the market just needs a few days to cool off. And before you know it, you're down 50, 60, 70%. And so your $2 million that you had on paper becomes 400 or 500K, right? Not bad. Still probably whatever you have now is probably worth more at the bottom of the next bear market than it is right now, or close thereabouts. So that's something to think about. But remember to sell. Remember to sell. Okay, interesting question. Where are we up to next? All right, let's do a few more here. Holy volatility, Batman. Yeah, that's crypto, man. That is crypto. Let's see some good ones. Good looking ones here. Psycholand, have you looked into DeFi Kingdoms? I have not. I've definitely seen, I've opened up their page a few times before, looked around. I'm aware of it, right? But I haven't really looked into it. Obviously, it's been trending for a while. People talked about it for a while. It's a game that's apparently getting some kind of traction. So, but I don't know much about it or have a good opinion on it, to be honest. So, okay, we're up to next year. I am 15 minutes behind here on the chat. Hold on a second. We try and catch up a little bit here. Crypto Colt 96, what's your thoughts on ETH lagging right now? Do you think the money will flow back to ETH after the Bitcoin ETF approval? Yes. Yes, I do. Because as soon as Bitcoin ETF approval happens, then everybody starts talking about the ETH spot ETF. Plus, we have so many big catalysts coming for Ethereum this year. Big Ethereum upgrades coming, account abstraction, EIP 4844, the continued increase of adoption of layer 2s, restaking, all this kind of stuff that's going on right now in the Ethereum space is big. So while the core asset hasn't been moving that much, it will. ETH will probably get up to 10 to 15K this cycle, something like that. Not psycho crazy gains, but certainly enough. But as I mentioned in my video that I made the other day on Ethereum, the real money is probably going to be made on the beta plays. The new layer 2s, Arbitrum, Optimism, all the stuff that's coming, Starknet, whatever else, Scroll, etc. Okay. Let me try to catch up a little bit on the time here. Moonshine, do you see ETH reaching 15K? As I just mentioned, probably in the sense like that would be like the peak price, something like that. And don't get wedded to numbers. I keep repeating this because I think it's really important. Don't get wedded to a certain number. Like if, let's say 15K is your target and like, I'm not going to sell a dime until it gets to 15K and it goes to $14,790. Like, nah, it's going to go down $200 more. It's going to go. And then it doesn't. And then it goes down and then it goes down 90% or 80% or 70%. And you're just like, Should have sold. Yeah, so watch for market conditions. Again, Coinbase app, number 1, crypto.com at number 3, Kraken, number 5, whatever, this kind of stuff. Old friends calling, people posting Rolexes, people posting new cars, media saying it's new paradigm money, all that kind of stuff. Monthly RSI topping at 90 plus. These kind of things, guys. These kind of things I watch out for, okay? All right, still trying to catch up to actual time here. We're a bit behind on everything here. It says, I love Alex on the STX ecosystem. First dog meme coin on Bitcoin called Welsh. Big fan here. I've not heard of that. No idea. But yep, dog coins, man. Everybody loves them. Everybody loves them. All Polkadot holders from Eddie. All Polkadot holders that have their DOT in a Polkadot wallet will receive an airdrop called DEAD. The DEAD token is Polkadot's first meme coin. This is true. This is true. There's a meme coin coming for the Polkadot ecosystem in the very, very near future. I think being funded by the Polkadot Foundation, if I remember correctly. But yeah, coming soon. Meme coin coming soon to a blockchain near you. So if you are staking your Polkadot, get ready for that to happen. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, Celestia. Bull peak prediction. Nope. No price prediction on Celestia. Obviously, a very important piece of crypto infrastructure with the data availability network. It's obviously getting a lot of adoption. Stuff like Manta Network, others are adopting it. So, very important piece of technology. I have no idea what the price is going to do. I haven't thought about it enough. So, there you go. Oh, here we go. We finally caught up to real time here. Okay, fantastic. Huckleberry Native, should I move my ETH to its layer 2s? Well, first, I can't tell you what to do with your money. But second, I would ask what your intention would be, right? If you're going to move your ETH from the main net to Arbitrum, for what purpose? You have to think about that. For what purpose? If you're going to actually do stuff with it and do DeFi with it and all that kind of stuff, rock and roll, that makes sense. If you're just moving it to move it, probably doesn't make sense. If you're moving it to maybe just create volume on the layer 2s, yeah, maybe. I mean, just bridging money onto a chain can potentially get you in line for an airdrop, but probably you're going to want to do more than just that. Still, though, some things will reward you for that. Like if you bridge over to Manta, then you will get in line for an airdrop. But if you do it to Arbitrum right now, there's not going to be any airdrop coming for that. If you bridge over to Scroll, maybe just bridging is enough to get a potential airdrop. So that's something. Obviously, using your ETH at layer 2 is dramatically cheaper than using it on layer 1. So if you just want to say, hey, you know what? I like my ETH, but I'm sick of layer 1. I don't want to do anything else on layer 1 anymore. I'm out. I'm going to go over and do all my stuff on Arbitrum and Optimism and wherever else now. That's fine too. That actually makes sense because a lot of your same favorite apps are going to be over there, but not everything is there. But it depends. Ask yourself, like, what am I actually doing on layer 1 Ethereum these days? And can I be doing those same things or better things even on layer 2? Because if that answer is yes, then maybe it does make sense to just take off from layer 1 and go over to layer 2 and enjoy paying 10, 20, 30 cents fees currently, maybe sometimes $2 or $3 when it gets a bit crazier. You have to do some big interaction. And then, of course, when all the new upgrades come later this year, you're going to be paying a few pennies per transaction. And Ethereum main chain will still cost 20, 40, 50 bucks to do anything. So maybe that makes sense. Cody says, thanks for everything you do. Love your videos. I know you're big on Link and it's top dog. How do you feel about Pith for this year as far as ROI? Pith certainly has done well in terms of getting a lot of users before they launched. Now, seeing Oracle competition is nothing new. If we go back to 2020, it was pretty popular to launch Oracles. We had quite a few Oracle competitors to Chainlink, and none ever came close. I think the closest competitor was like Band Protocol, but it was like Chainlink had 98% of the market, and Band had 1.5%, and everybody else had the remaining 0.5%. So nobody else really took off in terms of being Oracles. Pith was a bit different. Pith actually had like 180 protocols or something being secured by its Oracles on launch of its token. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, look, it's lower market cap, so the ROI potential is higher simply because that, realistically. The one thing to maybe keep in mind here, though, is that Chainlink is diverging to some extent. It's becoming this almost meta asset with CCIP coming out and the cross-chain transfers and all this stuff. Like, that's really big technology. So it's Chainlink's not just oracles anymore. It goes much beyond that. Pyth is still just oracles. If you're big into oracles, I think they're very important. And Pyth is the big Solana oracle. There's value there in that, I think. Okay. One or two more, guys, and we'll finish up for today. Moonshine says majority of these tokens are nothing but scratch off lottery tickets. It's true. 9 out of 10 of them are probably going to go to zero in the next 24 months. So that's something to keep in mind. Favorite dog coin. I do not have a favorite dog coin. I'm not so into it. Although if I were to buy a meme coin, it'd probably be cocking you, just because that shit's hilarious. All right. Anyway. Clinton coin. Oh my goodness. Some of the stuff you guys come up with, I tell you, it's fantastic. What are your thoughts on collecting rare sets? I assume you're talking about like ordinals and NFTs on Bitcoin and stuff like that. BRC20 tokens. Actually, I think the whole movement's very interesting. I know there's some developers who are like, no, you're not supposed to use the blockchain for that. Well, people are using blockchain for that. Welcome to your permissionless blockchain. Thank you very much. It's a very interesting area. It's not one that I've dived into super deep yet. It's only so much time in the day, right? So many narratives, so many things to be chasing, but the money potential has definitely been there. We've seen huge gains happen for the entire Bitcoin token space. I think that's probably going to continue. There's a lot of people who want to do Bitcoin only and want things happening on Bitcoin that they can do. Well, it's happening now. So if you don't want to go beyond Bitcoin, so to speak, you can just stay on Bitcoin and start trading BRC20 tokens and aping into Bitcoin NFTs and all that fun kind of stuff. So yeah, why not? People are making money at it. It's made big gains this year for a lot of people. Well, last year, I'm sure this year too, but 2023 is a big year for that, and 2024 will probably continue. Anyway, guys, that's it. Great questions. Awesome chat. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you in the next one.